Hello and welcome. My name is Elise with Zesty Fitness. Today we will be doing another Pilates class together. So this will be our second Pilates video together. Today we will be going through a beginner's Pilates sequence, and I will just be guiding you throughout this class. You can go ahead and follow along from your computer, and you can practice in any place within your home, gym, or on your mat. And together we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through this sequence guided by me, going along together and really just learning and getting into our fitness. So whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and get started, and I will be guiding you through this class. We will be going through each sequence 10 times each, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. So thank you again, and when you're ready, let's get started on our mats. So coming onto our mats, we're going to go ahead and start with just a few stretches. So let's go ahead and just bring those arms across the body first, just to warm up here. Inhale, let's bring that arm up behind the head. Exhale, release and switch. Stretching the neck here. And let's go ahead and sink down into that child's pose, bringing those glutes down onto our heels and bringing those hands out in front of us. Just breathing here. Let's inhale up into cat. Exhale to child's pose. Inhale, lifting up, arching that spine, tucking the chin into cat, and exhale, sinking the hips back into child's pose. Inhale up, and exhale, sinking back. Lifting up through the spine. Exhale, back down to child's pose, resting that forehead onto the mat. Continuing at your own pace, following your breath here. Allowing that spine to rise and stretch as we inhale. And as we exhale, just releasing those glutes all the way back, meeting to our heels, and lengthening the spine, or stretching those arms out in front of us. Trying to dig just a bit deeper into each stretch. Two more. We're going to inhale up into that cat and exhale, sinking back into our child's pose. Inhale up into cat last time. Exhale, sinking back into our child's pose here, reaching those arms out in front of us. From here, let's go ahead and just thread the needle. We're going to inhale, lifting up that right arm, gazing towards those fingertips. Exhale, we're going to bring that arm under and across, lowering the forehead down to the mat. We're going to stretch out that arm here, opening up the shoulder. Inhale, bringing that arm back up. Exhale, releasing it in front of us. This time we're going to inhale, lifting up the left arm, gazing towards the fingertips. And exhale, bringing that arm all the way across. Breathing here. Inhale, lifting back up, gazing towards those fingertips. And exhale, sinking back into our child's pose. From here, let's go ahead and gaze towards our fingertips, pushing up And we're going to do our push up into our pike. So we have a couple of different variations here. Let's go ahead and start with our first variation. To do our push up into pike, you're going to want to just bring those knees back a little. Our first variation is going to be keeping those knees down and our feet down onto the mat. So you just want to push up, lowering the body, come back up, tuck those toes, and sink back into a pike. Our second variation is to keep those knees slightly back. You're going to lift the calves and feet up off the mat here. And now you're going to slowly lower the body down into a push-up, push back up, tuck those toes, and meet back into that pike. And our third variation is to come into our high plank, sink down into a push-up, lift up, and push back into a pike. We're going to go ahead and repeat this 10 times so you can choose which feels most comfortable for you. So once you figure out which variation works best for you, we're going to go ahead and sink down into our push-up, and then we're going to lift up into our pike. So for our first one, let's go ahead, and I'm going to start with my knees down, slightly lifting up those legs. We're going to sink down into our push-up, lifting back up, tuck those toes, and sink into our pike. Exhale, dropping the knees back down. We're going to do our push-up, lift up, tuck the toes, and pike. Drop the knees, lower the chest, lift up, tuck the toes, and pike. Now let's go ahead and keep going at our own breath right here. Just choosing whichever variation feels best for you in this current moment. Sinking deeper into that push-up and pike. Three more. Let's go ahead and come into the variation of your choice. Lower the body, push up, tuck the toes, and pike. And last one, coming into your final variation, we're going to go ahead and lower that body together. Lift up, tuck the toes, and push back into our pike. Now drop the knees, and we're going to slowly sit back here onto our mat. Okay, once you're ready, we're going to go ahead and do our downward facing dog walkout. So we're going to go ahead and push back up into that downward facing dog. We're going to walk our hands out, lifting the hips up, and then walking all the way back, coming back into our first position. So once you're ready, let's go ahead and just start at our knees. We're going to go ahead and walk those hands out in front of us, pushing the hips back into our downward facing dog. And from here, we're going to walk those hands all the way back towards our feet. And we're going to go ahead and continue from here. So let's go ahead and we're going to get in 9 more rounds of this. So let's go down, meeting your hands towards those feet, walking the hands all the way out one by one in front of us. Push those hips up into our downward facing dog. And gently walk those hands all the way back, meeting back towards our feet. Inhale, gazing forward, walking those hands all the way back out. Pushing back into our third downward facing dog. And walk those hands back towards our feet. Inhale, walking back out. And sinking into the downward facing dog. Continuing this at your own pace, following your natural breath. Halfway there, we're going to go ahead and bring those hands all the way back out, walking them out one by one. feeling it through the back of the legs and getting strength throughout our arms here. You can go ahead and bend your knees as well if that feels more comfortable for you. Again, walking out, sinking those hips back into our downward facing dog and meeting our hands back towards our feet. Just 2 more to go. We're going to walk those hands out, lifting the hips, pushing them up and back, and meeting those hands back towards our feet. 1 more here. Let's inhale, gazing forward. Again, you can bend those knees slightly if that feels more comfortable for you. We're going to walk those hands out with the palms flat on the mat. Push those hips back into our downward facing dog. And inhale, walking those hands back to our feet. And from here, we can go ahead and drop down, meeting back into a seated position on our mats. Thank you so much for joining me and following along for this Pilates tutorial. I hope that you really enjoyed it and learned a lot of different poses and exercises that you can introduce into your routine. So thank you again. I hope to see you back here for more classes with me and Zesty Fitness. So thank you so much, and I'll see you back here soon. My name's Elise, and it has been a pleasure teaching you. Namaste.